Gilmore.
Well, Councillor, I think today is a day that's going to be remembered for a very long time in this country, because it is the day that crystallises more than a decade of mismanagement of our economy and bad government by Fianna Fáil. And it's very easy for the Taoiseach to get up here and to point across the floor and to say, well, what about your policies? We're here today, Taoiseach, because of your policies. Today is the day that the Irish taxpayer gets the invoice for the bailout of the banks. There will be a press conference at 4:30. The financial regulator and the governor of the central bank will make a statement, and the Minister for Finance will make a statement here at 5 o'clock. And there has been considerable speculation in the press about what is likely to be in those statements. And I reckon that it is going to come somewhere, all told, close to €40,000 million. That's going to be the price that the Irish taxpayer is going to have to pay for the bailout of the banks. It's more than 3 times the income tax take for a full year. It is something like €26,000 for every taxpayer in the country. It would finance the primary education system for 13 years. It would pay non-contributory pensions for 40 years. Now, Fianna Fáil rode to power on the back of a promise that it would be payback time. It's payback time now. The problem is it's the banks that are getting paid, and it's working families that are doing the paying. You take a family somewhere in Kildare, bought a house, bought a home at a high price, the height of the property boom. That family is now being asked to pay 4 times and in 4 different ways. Today they're being asked to pay a higher mortgage for a home that's now worth less than the mortgage is in the first place. They're being asked to pay more in taxation over the next probably several decades to finance the transfer of the bad debts from property developers to NAMA. Their pension fund is being raided to pay for the recapitalisation of the banks, because the banks had it both ways. They were lending simultaneously over the odds to the property speculators on the one hand who were driving up the house prices, and then they were lending the money to the people who had to pay the high house prices in the first place. And that same family is probably paying already through pay cuts, through job loss, or through loss of business. 40,000 million, or thereabouts, is a lot of money, not counting the negative equity that there is on homes and not counting the collateral damage that has been caused to the economy. And instead of you coming in here today, Taoiseach, having a whack again at the opposition parties, bringing in a motion here later this evening which is about clapping the government on the back, I think it is time, Taoiseach, that you came in here. I'm putting the question. I think it's time, Taoiseach, that you came in here and that you accepted responsibility, that what has happened to the banking system and what has happened as a consequence to our economy is your responsibility. And my question is simply this: are you today, finally, going to take responsibility for what you have done?
Supplementary, Deputy Gilmore.
That's the 5th time now that we've heard this speech from the Taoiseach. I remember when I first raised problems of banking with the Taoiseach, he told this House that the Irish banking system was fine, that there were no problems, that it was well capitalised and fit for purpose. One of the best viewed YouTube videos is the Taoiseach making the same points when he was standing in the New York Stock Exchange. He made the same speech when he came in on September of 2008 with the bank guarantee, when he told us that we should pass the bank guarantee and that it wouldn't cost the taxpayer any money. Well, now we know. He made the same speech when he came in with the proposal to nationalise Anglo after the government had provided a guarantee for it, and again reassured us that it was not going to, if it was going to cost, it wasn't going to cost an awful lot. It's now, by my estimate, going to cost somewhere in the order of €22,000 million, and that's just Anglo alone. We got the same speech when you came in and you told us about NAMA. You told us that the haircut would be 30%. Let's hear now what it is. It's after 4:30, so I'm not breaking any embargo. The financial regulator and the governor of the central bank told Deputy Burton and I earlier today that the average haircut would be 47%. That's a long way now, in a few months, from the 30% that you told us it was going to be. And now you come in here and tell us that. Now you come in here today and tell us that, you know, it's all because there was an international crisis in banking. Yes, there was, Taoiseach, but the problem with the Irish banking system and the problem with the Irish economy is that it has suffered a double whammy, and you're the second whammy. The Irish economy and the Irish banking system is in a crisis not just because there's an international crisis, which there is and which has to be dealt with, but it is uniquely in this crisis that it is in because of the policies that your government pursued, hand in glove with property developers, hand in glove with bankers, which created the property bubble, which overpriced houses, which has ended up with working families in this country now struggling with mortgages that are gone way up for properties that are valued less now than the mortgage is valued for, and which, on top of which, you are now giving them a massive big bill today for €40,000 million that they're going to have to pay in their taxes. And it's time that you took responsibility for it, acknowledged responsibility for it, and said sorry to the people of Ireland.